Welcome to lesson 9.1. We're describing polynomials and then adding and subtracting polynomials. We've got a bit of vocabulary here. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. Again, pause this video at any time if you need to catch up with any of the notes. A monomial is a one-term polynomial. So something like 2x or 9 are monomials. There's one term. The degree of a monomial is the exponent of the variable or the sum of the exponent of the variable. So in a polynomial is a term or sum or difference of two or more terms and no variable in the denominator. So that's a polynomial. So think about things like 2x plus 1 or 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. Those are all polynomials. They're just a series of terms or a series of monomials added or subtracted together. And you can have one term or as many terms as you want, and we can call it a polynomial. A standard form of the polynomial arranges everything in degrees of the polynomial in order from greatest to least degree. So if you had an x squared and an x, the x squared would have to be listed first. Just kind of like our alphabetical rule, this is the greater the exponent, the order it's going to go into. A binomial is a two-term polynomial, and then a trinomial is a three-term polynomial. They're special names. Your book does a great job in lesson 9.1 of kind of giving you a chart with some of these. Let's turn to the next page in our notes here and see what we've got. So here we've got some monomials. Here we have the constant 18. Notice there's no variable. So the degree, remember what happens when we have x to the 0? It just becomes 1, and 18 times 1 is still 1, or 18. So we have no value of x here, so it's understood to be a degree of 0. And anytime you have a constant, which is just a number, or it is a degree of 0. If you look at the second monomial here, we have 3xy to the third. The degree of x is 1, and the degree of the power of x is 1, and the power of y is 3. So the degree here is 4 because we add the exponents 1 and 3 to get the sum of 4. If you look at 6c here, c has an exponent of 1, and there aren't any other variables, so this monomial has a degree of 1. And degrees are important, and we'll talk about how degrees can help us find the number of solutions later on in the chapter. So thinking about this right here, we have a 9x to the 0. Its degree is going to be 0 because its power is 0, okay? And if you think about what's going to happen here, you're going to have 9 times x to the 0. X to the 0 is 1, so it's 9 times 1. This value here is actually simplified as 9. So just a couple of things to think about. Let's look at some polynomials, and we'll talk about them. So here we want to write each polynomial in standard form, combining like terms, and then name each polynomial by its degree and number of terms. So the first thing we want to look at here is we have two terms, okay? And with our two terms, we are going to write it in order of greatest to least degree. So if you think about the minus 2, it has a degree of 0. And the 7x has a degree of 1. So we're going to need to rewrite this as 7x minus 2. Okay? 7x minus 2. And then this is in standard form. The polynomial, there's two terms, right? There's two things. So this is and the degree is 1 because this degree is 1 and this degree is 0. So you take the greatest degree. So this is a first degree binomial. Apologize for my writing here. My pen's being a little temperamental. If you look at the second one here, we have to rearrange this again. And the first thing you want to do is combine like terms. And you see here we have a 3x to the 5th and a minus 2x to the 5th. So 3x to the 5th minus 2x to the 5th, that's actually going to be 1x to the 5th. And then we have a 7x. We don't have any other terms with a power of 1 for our x. So we have 7x And then the last term that's missing here is going to be the minus 2. So the result is a 3-term, and we call a 3-term a trinomial, minus 2. So we have a trinomial with the degree of 5 because this term has the highest degree, and it's 5. So it's a 5th degree trinomial here. Go ahead and try the quick check and then restart it when you're ready. All right, so hopefully you had time to rearrange those quick check questions here. If you look, let's look at the first one. Again, you have to write these in order of greatest to least degree. Notice this monomial, this term right here is a 4th degree, so that makes this whole polynomial a 4th degree. There's 3 terms, so it's a 4th degree trinomial. With all of these, you want to make sure you're watching your signs. In the second one here, we can rearrange it, and again, we've got to watch that sign there. Even though we don't like that negative hanging out front, it's there, and we can't, because we don't have an equation, we can't do anything with it right now. So we've got a 3rd degree trinomial. Now, hopefully, as we start to work through some of these, you'll learn that some of them have special names. So anything we have to a 3rd degree, we also can call cubic. With our third example here, we rearrange it, and when we rearrange it, we have to combine the 7v minus 11v because each term, like terms, need to be combined. Okay, so we end up getting only 2 terms, which means it's a binomial, and it's a 1st degree. Well, anytime we have a 1st degree, think about what the graph's going to look like, a line. And so we call those linear binomials. So if this is a 1st degree binomial or a linear binomial. Let's look at the next example here. Okay, so we're adding polynomials. So what we want to do is we want to start working with these. I'm going to type and see if this works a little better. We're going to rearrange these and take out the parentheses. We've got 6x to the second, okay? And then we're going to add to that 2x to the second power because those are going to be like powers. And then we've got plus 3x minus 6x. Watch those signs there. And then we have plus 7 and minus 4. So now what ends up happening is the 6x squared plus the 2x squared becomes 8x squared, okay? And then the 3x minus 6x gives us minus 3x. And then 7 minus 4 gives us plus 3. So we rearrange those, okay, so that we have like terms right beside each other that we then know we can add and as we're combining like terms, and then we write this. Now think about what the result is. We've got a 2nd degree trinomial because this is our first term here and it's a 2nd degree trinomial, but we can also call it a quadratic trinomial because 2nd degree equations are usually quadratics. Okay, go ahead and rearrange, add the following quick checks together, and when you're ready, check. You can see here we have the result is 20m squared plus 9, and again, this is going to be a quadratic binomial or a 2nd degree binomial, and here we also have a 2nd degree binomial or a quadratic binomial. In C, we end up with 3 terms, so it's going to be a trinomial, and because we have a degree of 3, we could call it a cubic trinomial. Watch your signs here. And then in D, again, we've got a 3-term polynomial, so it's going to be a trinomial, and the degree here is going to be 3rd degree or cubic. Okay, moving on to subtracting. When we subtract polynomials, you're going to do them the same as you add. You want to be very careful right here. See how that minus? Think about that as being distributed to each term in that trinomial. So when we start to rearrange it, we've got the 2x to the 3rd power, and then we're going to have minus 5x to the 3rd power. And then we come back to our first one, and we can add 4x. That's going to be to the 2nd power, minus 2x. Okay? Now notice these aren't like terms. Okay? We're just rearranging everything in order of degree for each term. And then we can subtract 6. And the most difficult part, and this is where I would look for a mistake right away, is notice how we have this minus a negative 2. That's going to end up becoming plus 2. So then we can combine like terms, and we're left with 2x to the third power. Excuse me, I apologize. We're left with negative 3x to the third power, combining the 2x to the third minus 5x to the third. And then we need to add 4x to the second minus 2x, and then negative 6 plus 2 leaves us with minus 4. Check that. All right, go ahead and try the quick check and watch your signs. That's going to be where most of the errors are going to happen here. So let's look at 4a, when the result is going to be negative 8v to the third plus 13v squared minus 4v. And again, we've got a trinomial here. It's a third degree or cubic trinomial. In b, we've got 28d to the third minus 30d squared minus 3d. And again, you've got to watch your signs when you're distributing it to both terms inside the following parenthesis. Here we've got 4x squared plus 5x plus 1, and then we're subtracting 6x squared, which is going to result in negative 2x squared, and then plus 4x minus 7. So again, that's a minus 8 here, and that sign is usually, or this number is usually where I'm going to see mistakes happening. This was just a quick overview of 9.1. We'll talk about it in class. Please bring your questions. Thanks for watching.